me without deviation. I am easy to obtain, O son of Pritha, because of his constant engagement in devotional service. Purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Jai Srila Prabhupada. In this verse, the Bhakti Yoga of the unalloyed devotees of the Supreme Lord is described. The preceding verses mention four different kinds of devotees: the distressed, the inquisitive, those who seek material gain, and the speculative philosophers. Different processes of liberation from material entanglement have also been described: Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, and Hatha Yoga. But here, Bhakti Yoga, without any mixture of these, is mentioned. In Bhakti Yoga, the devotees desire nothing but Krishna. The pure Bhakti devotee does not desire promotion to heavenly planets, nor does he seek salvation or liberation from material entanglement. A pure devotee does not desire anything. In the Chaitanya Charitamrita, the pure devotee is called Nishkama, which means he has no desire for self interest. Perfect peace belongs to him alone, not to one who strives for personal gain. The pure devotee only wants to please the Supreme Lord, and so the Lord says that for anyone who is unflinchingly devoted to Him, He is easy to attain. The devotee can render service to any of the transcendental forms of the Supreme Lord, and he meets with none of the problems that plague the practitioners of other yogas. Bhakti yoga is very simple and pure and easy to perform. One can begin by simply chanting Hare Krishna. Krishna is very merciful to those who engage in his service, and he helps in various ways that devotee who is fully surrendered to him, so he can understand him as he is. The Lord gives such a devotee sufficient intelligence so that ultimately the devotee can attain him in his spiritual kingdom. The special qualification of the pure devotee is that he is always thinking of Krishna without considering the time or place. There should be no impediments. He should be able to carry out his service anywhere and at any time. Some say that the devotee should remain in holy places like Vrindavan or some holy town where the Lord lived, but a pure devotee can live anywhere and create the atmosphere of Vrindavan by his devotional service. It was Sri Advaita who told Lord Chaitanya, "Wherever you are, O Lord, there is Vrindavan." A pure devotee constantly remembers Krishna and meditates upon him. These are qualifications of the pure devotee for whom the Lord is most easily attainable. Bhakti Yoga is the system that the Gita recommends above all others. Generally, the Bhakti Yogis are engaged in 5 different ways. Shanta Bhakta, engaged in devotional service in neutrality. Dasya Bhakta, engaged in devotional service as servant. Sakhya Bhakta, engaged as friend. Vatsalya Bhakta, engaged as parent. And Madhurya Bhakta, engaged as conjugal lover of the Supreme Lord. In any of these ways, the pure devotee is always constantly engaged in the transcendental loving service of the Supreme Lord and cannot forget the Supreme Lord, and so for him, the Lord is easily attained. A pure devotee cannot forget the Supreme Lord for a moment, and similarly, the Supreme Lord cannot forget his pure devotee for a moment. This is the great blessing of the Krishna conscious process of chanting the Mahamantra, Hare Krishna. Thus ends the Bhakti Vedanta purport. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So, this is the 8th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. We are reading the 14th verse today. And in the verses preceding to this, what is being described is the process of leaving this body. So, in the earlier chapters and in the ensuing verses of this chapter also, Krishna will be explaining that this material world is a miserable place. It is dukkhalayam, ashashvatam, a place of miseries, a place which is temporary. And exactly opposite to this material world, there is a spiritual world, which is full of happiness and is eternal. So in this chapter, in the earlier verses, some processes have been described by which one can attain to that spiritual world. What are the different processes? What are the different types of yoga by which one can attain the spiritual world? There is Jnana Yoga, there is Karma Yoga, then there is Dhyana or Ashtanga Yoga. And then in this verse, Krishna is talking about Bhakti Yoga. So 4 different types of yogas are there. Karma, Dhyana, Jnana and Bhakti. So any of these processes one follows, one can get out of this material world and attain the spiritual world. But here Krishna is telling that out of all these yoga processes, this Bhakti Yoga is very special. Ananya cheta satatam yomam smarati nityashaha tasyaham sulabah partha. For someone who takes to this process of bhakti, what kind of bhakti? Ananya cheta satatam. Ananya, anya means others. Ananya means nothing, no other thing. Ananya cheta. Cheta means to think. So, a bhakti yogi, he is not thinking about anything else. Ananya cheta satatam. Always he is not thinking about anything else. Then what is he thinking about? Yo mam smarati nityashaha. He is always thinking only about me, only about Krishna. Ananya cheta satatam yo mam smarati nityashaha. So if somebody follows this process of thinking about Krishna always, then what is the result? Tasyaham sulabha partha. For such a person, aham, I am very easily achieved. Sulabha means very, very easily. Tasyaham sulabha partha nitya yuktasya yoginaha. Why? Because such a person is always connected to me. Now if you contrast this with other forms of yoga, like let us say Karma Yoga. So Karma Yoga, if one has to perform, so many rules and regulations are there. This you have to do at this time, you have to do so many methods and procedures one has to follow. If one has to perform dhyana or meditation, again it is described, we saw in the previous chapter, he has to go to a secluded place. In the 6th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, it is described, he has to go to a secluded place like a forest. There he has to practice celibacy. He has to reduce his eating and all other bodily requirements. And then he has to control his life breath. He has to control his breath and concentrate on the tip of his nose. His eyes should neither be open and neither it should be closed. And for many, many such years, when he is able to do that, he attains the state called samadhi. So very difficult, no? So difficult it is. And if somebody wants to take to the process of jnana, analytical study, the first thing is you have to become sannyasi. You have to become sannyasi and you have to chant the sacred syllable Om. You have to read all the Vedantas. In the previous verse it is mentioned. Persons learned in the Vedas who utter Omkara and who are great sages in the renounced order enter into Brahman. Desiring such perfection, one practices celibacy. So you see, one has to be in the renounced order of life. So if somebody is a family person, somebody is a householder, he is going to office, he has children, he is doing some business, or somebody is taking care of the house, she is taking care of the children, can they practice this Jnana Yoga? Can they practice this Dhyana Yoga? Very, very difficult. Actually, not only difficult, it is impossible. But here Krishna is telling that if you practice this Bhakti Yoga, what happens? Tasyaham sulabha partha. Very easily you can achieve me. What do you have to do? Ananya cheta satatam yomam smarati nityasaha. Nothing we have to do. We just have to keep thinking of Krishna always, without thinking of anything else. Prabhupada narrated a nice story in this regard. One day, in one village, in villages, this Bhagavata Saptaham happens. So some person will come, he will narrate in the temple Bhagavata, and in the night all people, they will sit and they will listen to that Bhagavatam. So in one village, when this Bhagavatam recitation was happening, because a lot of crowd comes, generally during temple festivals only they organize such Saptahams. So a lot of crowd comes. So many times, thieves also come. Why? Opportunity to steal. So one thief came and he also sat among the audience. And this Bhagavatam narration was happening. So this narrator was describing. He was describing how Mother Yashoda is nicely decorating Krishna. She is decorating Krishna with very, very costly ornaments. Nice necklace, then bracelets, then anklets, rings. Because Yashoda, she wants to see that Krishna is looking very beautiful. And then Krishna is going out, taking all his cows with his friends. He is going to the forest of Vrindavan. So this narrator was telling, even today if you go to Vrindavan, Krishna goes out every day like that with the cows. So when this thief heard this, he thought, oh, so many jewels this Krishna has got. So let me also go to Vrindavan and catch this Krishna when he is alone in Vrindavan. And when I catch him, I can get all these jewels. So this person, this thief, he went all the way to Vrindavan. And constantly he was thinking, I have to see Krishna, I have to find Krishna, I have to find Krishna. So he went to Vrindavan and he was searching, where is this Krishna, this small boy with a flute, so many jewels, very beautiful boy, dark complexion. Because all this description he heard in Bhagavatam. And he was very determined that I have to see. He was greedy to see Krishna. And because of that greed, this thief actually saw Krishna in Vrindavan. He actually saw Krishna. And when he saw Krishna, he lost all desire for the jewels. And he became so attracted to Krishna that he became a devotee and he went back to the spiritual world. So that is what Krishna is telling here. Ananya cheta satatam. This thief, he was not thinking about anything else. Yomam smarati nityasaha. What this thief was thinking about? He was only thinking about Krishna. ananya cheta satatam yomam smarati nityasah. Because he was only thinking about Krishna. What happened? Tasyaham sulabha partha. Krishna made himself available to this thief. Even though this thief, he did not know the glorious position of Krishna and all. Simply because he was thinking of Krishna, Krishna made himself available to this thief. So you see how powerful this Bhakti Yoga is. So no qualification is required. In all other forms of yoga, so much qualification is required. One has to go to a forest for so much long period. One has to meditate. One has to read all the Vedas. He has to practice celibacy. Here nothing. You have to think about Krishna. You have to be greedy for Krishna. That is the only qualification. One has to be greedy for Krishna. That how we are greedy? I want job, I want money, I want beauty, right? We are all greedy for so many things, no? For bhakti, the only qualification required, Rupa Goswami says, is you have to be greedy for Krishna. So in the Padyavali, very nicely, Rupa Goswami says, it's a very nice verse. He says, Krishna Bhakti Rasa Bhavita, Krishna Bhakta Rasa Bhavita Matihi. Krishna Bhakti Rasa Bhavita. Always thinking about Krishna Bhakti Matihi. My mind should always be thinking about Krishna. Okay? And Kriyatam Yati Kutopi Labhyate. If you can purchase this somewhere from the market, please purchase this. If you can give some money and purchase this Krishna consciousness or greed for Krishna, you please purchase. Why? He says, because, okay, if you're getting in this, what is the price you have to pay for this? Tatra mulyam laulyam ekam. The cost for this Krishna consciousness is your laulya or your greed. You have to be greedy for this. Because na janma koti sukritir labhyate. This Krishna consciousness, even if you do punyas for crores of lifetimes, you will not get. Even though it is such an easy process, it cannot be attained even by doing crores of janma of sukriti or punya. How you can get this? You can get this only if you're greedy for Krishna. So then somebody may ask, how can I develop that greed? I don't have any greed for Krishna. I have greed for money. I have greed for food. I have greed for a wonderful husband or a wonderful wife. I have a greed for promotion. I have a greed for a big house. Right? We have greed for so many things, but we don't have greed for Krishna. Is it not? So, this greed, how it comes? It comes when we are in the association of pure devotees who have this greed for Krishna. So, just like when you are always in the association of a person who is greedy for money, or if you are always associated with a person who is greedy for drinking, what happens? We also develop the same quality, right? Similarly, if we want to develop this greed for Krishna, what should we do? We should associate with devotees who have this greed for Krishna. Just like there was this hunter, no, Mrigari, you all know Mrigari's story. He was a hunter and he was killing so many animals. He never had any Krishna consciousness. He had not done any punya. Then one day Narada Muni came there and he said, what are you doing? You are killing so many animals. You know how much sinful it is. And just because he heard something from a pure devotee like Narada Muni, he immediately gave up his bad habits and he started following Narada Muni's instruction. Narada Muni told him, and next time when Narada Muni came, he saw this hunter who was killing animals and leaving them half dead. He's careful even about stepping above an ant. And his bhakti had become so intense. How it had become so intense? Because of his association with Narada Muni. So, if we also associate with a pure devotee like Srila Prabhupada and follow his instructions, what is the instruction Prabhupada gave? Chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. By following this instruction, what happens? We will also develop that greed to attain Krishna. Ananya Cheta Satatam Yomam Smarati Nityashaha. So we will be able to think only about Krishna, not about anything else. We will also develop that greed. And when we reach that state, what will happen? Tasyaham Sulabha Partha. Krishna make himself very, very easily available to us. So this is a very, very simple process of Krishna consciousness, provided we develop that greed. And to develop that greed, we should constantly keep coming to the temple, keep associating with devotees who have that greed for Krishna consciousness. By that, we also develop that greed, and we can also, with that greed, attain Krishna very easily. We'll stop here. Srimad-Bhagavad-Gita ki, Vishwaguru Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. So now we'll have Shayana Arti. Before that, a couple of announcements. This Friday, we have Sri Rama Navami festival.